Hello everybody, my name is Rainer, this is Radio Books. Welcome to another edition of my weekly wrap-ups. I am a German booktuber living in Sweden and talking about books written in English or translated into English mostly, sometimes also about books in other languages, but we'll come to that later. A weekly wrap-up, and the sun is shining outside, so let's get started. I finished 2 books last week, and that is quite good for me. For the last couple of months, I mostly finished only 1 book per week, or not even one, and I was seeing that the goal of reading 52 books in 2021 just vanished into the distance. But now it's getting closer again, and maybe I can reach it, because last week was really a good week. I was reading a lot, chunks of books, and I finished 2. The first one I made already a single review about, that is Rachel Kushner's essay collection, The Hard Crowd. Essays that she wrote from 2000 to 2020. Very different essays. She is a car lover, so it's about cars, it's about motorcycles. Starts actually with an essay called The Girl on a Motorcycle, or Girl on a Motorcycle, which also is a movie with Alain Delon. But actually, Kushner herself was a girl on a motorcycle riding through along the Mexican coast in a race that was called the Cable 1000, that was illegal, and it was sort of, I think, cancelled after a couple of years because there was a deadly accident, or some deadly accidents actually. And also Rachel Kushner had an accident. But there are also essays about music, and the one that I loved most is the one that is the last essay. I've never been to San Francisco when I was young. I was there once 4 years ago, and I hope I will come there again to visit this beautiful city. But this is about San Francisco, about growing up in San Francisco. It's called The Hard Crowd, which actually is a metaphor that is taken from a song by the British band Kream, from their song White Room. I sing a little bit of that song in my individual review of this book, so see that review. It's a great essay collection where Kushner really shows that she's not only a great and gifted, talented writer, but also someone who is reading enormously much and who always comes with references to movies, to music, and to intellectual essays and articles that she has read or she has studied. So this is really a very, very good book. The second one that I finished last week, actually yesterday, as always when I finish books, early in the morning, like I think it was, the clock showed half an hour after midnight, was The Other Black Girl by Zakya Dalila Harris. I have to deliver this book to the library, hopefully today in the afternoon. I finished this book and will also do a single review about it. I was a little bit... it was a very good read, very easy read, very entertaining read. It's a story about a girl. Her name is Nella, and Nella comes to the... her name is Nella Rogers. She's 26 years old. She is a assistant at a great publishing house in New York called Wagner, and the boss is called Richard Wagner. That's, of course, probably a hint to the composer from Germany, Richard Wagner. So he's the white boss of this publishing house, and Nella is the only black girl working there, the only black young woman, 26 years old, until the day when there's a second OBG coming, the other black girl, an OBG, other black girl, and her name is Hazel, and Hazel starts working there. And first Nella is enthusiastic about having Hazel at her side, close to her cubicle, because now there are 2 black girls who understand this sort of white empire of where black people have just a certain limited role. But then things start to happen, and a note appears that nobody knows who has written. She doesn't know who has written the note. A note appears on her desk in an envelope saying, "Leave Wagner now." And this book that was sort of an ironic, easy, readable novel about the professional life in New York and about race, about the situation of young black people in the publishing industry, this novel suddenly takes a turn, and it becomes a horror, almost a horror novel, a thriller kind of novel, and it changes the genre. And that is something that I think I didn't like to 100%, but I still thought it was a very good read. So about being in the publishing industry, about diversity in the publishing industry, and about what it takes for a young black woman to be successful there and to be able to cope with everything that's going on there. And this on the cover is very important here. You need this to comb your hair, right? And hair is, I have learned that I don't have so much hair as you can see left, but hair is a very important issue especially for black women. And this novel is also a lot about hair. Very good, and I really recommend it. I would give it 3.5 stars if I would give stars. I'll probably give stars because I said I would give it 3.5 stars. 2 more, the planned reads. I haven't started a new book yet. Well, actually I have. I started reading The Woman in the Purple Skirt by Natsuko Imamura. This small little book about a woman who always wears a purple skirt. And this story is told by a woman called The Woman in the Yellow Cardigan. I'm very interesting to continue with this. Very interested in that, not very interesting. Of course, I have 2 more buddy reads coming up, very, very closely coming up. Unfortunately, I still wait for Intimacies by Keiji Kitamura. That is another buddy read that's planned, but I have 2 buddy reads scheduled, hopefully starting very soon. This is Winter in Sokcho, which by the French writer Elisa Shua Dusapin, playing in Korea. I love this beautiful cover, which is like a postcard. I've got this from my bookshop in England. I'm going to read this with, hope that I pronounce your name somehow right, with Serenity from Sant Reads. And I decided also to do a second buddy read. We're going to Japan again by Mieko Kawakami. This book is called Heaven, and I am going to read it with Rachel from Rachel is Reading. These 2 books are buddy reads that are scheduled for this week, and I am so much looking forward again to read something with someone else. Especially super interesting to me, at least, if you have someone from another continent, one from Asia and one from America, and I'm sitting here in Europe, in Northern Europe. These are the books that I'm planning to read very soon, and hopefully I can finish them in a week or so and tell you more about it. I want to speak a little bit about the TV series that I have watched. I haven't started Squid yet. I'm a Netflixer right now. I've done a lot of Netflix. I saw this American sitcom called Superstore, which I think was not done for Netflix, was done for a different channel. But I'm in season 5 already now. And I would love to hear if any one of you have seen Superstore and loved it as much as I do, because I love the characters. There's a store called Cloud9, and Cloud9 is in St. Louis, Missouri. And there are these people. The boss is called Glenn, the manager of the shop, who speaks with a very, very strange language. I cannot speak like Glenn, it's impossible. He has a very high-pitched voice, which he doesn't have in real life. And there's this Latina woman called Amy Rodriguez. There's this Jewish guy called Jonah coming in the first episode, and the gay Filipino undocumented immigrant called Mateo. And I love this. And Cheyenne, the high school girl who is pregnant with an Asian background, Japanese background. There's so much diversity in this group, but also so many issues that are being treated. Issues that are really social issues in the United States. Issues like parental leave, like undocumented immigration, and how cruel the society sort of is dealing with undocumented immigrants, and everything with a lot of humor and a lot of heart, and I really love this series. This is what I have watched. I have listened to a lot of music. That's also a new sort of routine that I have established. I sit in my beautiful chair, my beautiful IKEA chair. The music that I listened to last week was really good. Some of it I listened to a live album from Okkervil River, one of my favorite bands. It's from Texas. That sort of, I think it was released earlier this year. They already have a new studio album coming out, which I haven't heard yet. But I also listened to the Black Keys, who produced a wonderful new album of their blues rock music. And I listened to this British R&B singer called Jorja Smith. I think these three I would mention: Okkervil River, Jorja Smith, and the Black Keys. Music that I really liked. And that was, I think, most of the things that I wanted to talk about, other than, you know, that I have moved to a new area 6 months ago almost. On October 26th it will be 6 months, and lately things have happened here. Last Tuesday a man was shot to death 450 meters from my apartment at 9:40 in the evening. A 43-year-old man was killed, and a 16-year-old boy was shot and wounded, and very, very badly wounded with 5 bullets in his body, but he's still alive and struggling for his life. And the perpetrators are still on the run. And yesterday when I came home from a football match, I was watching a football match. The whole street where I live was cordoned off by police, and it took like 3 hours until they let people coming in again in this area, because there was a suspected hand grenade found. So this is an interesting area that I've moved to, and I hope that it will get a little bit quieter in the future. So, but I'm not scared. I'm really not scared. I wish you a very good week wherever you are on the world, on this planet. In the world and on this planet, and I hope that I will see you soon again with another video. It's probably going to be a single review of The Other Black Girl by Zakya Dalila Harris. Thanks very much for watching this. Thanks very much for supporting this channel by subscribing to it, by liking, by commenting, by whatever. I want to get into touch with you. And as always, stay tuned to the channel, and most of all, stay safe. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.